I'm tired of this pain.
Get the relief you need without surgery. We're Arthritis Knee Pain Centers, the premier leaders in non-surgical knee pain treatments. Instead of surgically replacing your knees, our state-of-the-art procedures replenish the depleted natural cushioning in your joints with an FDA-approved shock-absorbing gel, without surgery and without downtime.
After the first injection, I knew it was going to work.
We've successfully treated thousands of patients. Medicare and most private insurance cover this procedure.
Full motion, no pain, walking, everything just back normal like it used to be.
Locations in Garden City, Smithtown, and Wall, New Jersey. Call 1-800-834-5911 for a no-charge, no-obligation knee pain assessment, or go to arthritis-kneepain.com.
We got Nets.
The Bombers are set for an epic October run.
Just outstanding.
And yes is your Yankees postseason home.
This team is set up to go deep into October.
With enhanced pre- and post-game coverage around every playoff game, plus preview specials and exclusive player access.
We're excited to take our shot.
You followed the chase all season. Tonight, get set for a pivotal Game 3 against the Royals. Starts tonight at 6 on Yes and the Yes app.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Yes.
Players always talk about how special it is to wear pinstripes. But throughout 2024, the Yankees have been equally comfortable in their road grays.
Oh, my! He crushed that!
The Bronx Bombers were often unruly guests at opposing venues during the regular season.
See ya! Over the big wall in center field!
Giving hostile crowds up-close looks at the kind of excitement that lit up the stadium so frequently.
Oh, he got it!
They had baseball's best record away from home.
Shot into the Minneapolis night.
Now these road warriors are ready for postseason action in enemy territory.
And the Yankees are pouring it on.
The scene has shifted from New York City to Kansas City, but Aaron Boone's team is focused on reclaiming the edge in this series. ALDS Game 3 next. Clark Schmidt and the Yankees have arrived in Kansas City, and they'll try to leave town with a win or two. Juan Soto and the Bombers' offense could help with that, as could Aaron Judge, who's still looking for a signature moment this postseason. He went deep in Kansas City earlier this year, and another big swing could swing the American League Division Series. Yankees won the first, the Royals won the next, and now it's on to a pivotal Game 3. Let's get you ready as the Yankees take on the Royals on a Wednesday night at Kauffman Stadium in Missouri. Certainly hope you're having a great night. Welcome to the FanDuel Yankees pregame. Bob Lorenz, John Flaherty, Jack Curry, and Michael Kay with you. Series even at a game apiece. This is always that pivotal Game 3. Michael swings it so heavily favored in terms of one team or the other, but what's the swing factor in your opinion?
Well, I think the swing factor is today has to be Judgment Day, and I know that he's 0 for 8 lifetime against Lugo, and in the game that Lugo pitched so well at Yankee Stadium in September, he did hit a ball to the warning track in right field that if it was a warmer night, it would have gone out. I know I'm like being picky right now. I just think that Judge has that one big swing in him today, and I think that he will connect, probably hit his first home run of the postseason.
I don't think we can emphasize enough how big a Game 3 is in a best-of-5 series. And the Yankees look at this game as a team that's under pressure. They're the favorite in this series. They have more talent than Kansas City. They're the $300 million Yankees. They're supposed to win. But across the first 2 games, as Michael just detailed, their stars haven't always been stars. So I look for them to figure out a way against Lugo tonight. They need some sustained offensive success. They've had base runners and done nothing with them. 2 for 20 with runners on base in Game 2. You get some base runners against Lugo, capitalize.
Jack, I'm glad you mentioned pressure because the players are feeling the pressure, but I think both managers on both sides are feeling the pressure tonight because there's going to be different opportunities out of the bullpen when you're playing back-to-back nights. So this is a big night and a big opportunity for Aaron Boone with some of the manager's decisions that he is going to be making as far as the bullpen arms are concerned. If this is a game in the 4th inning that can go either way, do you go for it as a manager, bring in some of your high leverage guys, or do you hang back a little bit knowing you have another night tomorrow night where you have to cover some big innings?
Well, let's check some early headlines for tonight's ball game. The Yankees went 50-31 on the road. That was the best record of the majors, and 3 wins came in Kansas City. Clark Schmidt gets the ball for the Yanks. It will be his first postseason start, and he'll try to buy the offense some time. The Yankees are just 3 for 19 with runners in scoring position in this series. But earlier, Aaron Boone talked about the confidence he has from every spot in his lineup.
I feel like we're in a pretty good spot and well equipped with kind of the supporting cast, if you will, around Judge and Juan, and obviously the historical seasons that they've had. But we have a lot of guys in this lineup that I feel like are capable of beating you. And, you know, we didn't even get a ton of big hits with runners out there, but still threw up 6 in that first game. So I feel like we're capable more so than we have been in some years this time of year with some of our supporting cast guys that have delivered for us a lot all year.
Well, the Yankees will try and do that up and down the lineup tonight. Jack, you mentioned the problems with runners on base in Game 2. We mentioned runners in scoring position. That problem all series. And in 18 innings so far, 12 leadoff batters on, but just not really pushing those guys across.
You need that timely hit, and the Yankees haven't gotten enough of them. And I want to go back to something that Michael said at the top of the show. I think your eyes turn to Aaron Judge because he's so important to what the Yankees are trying to do. 1 for 7 with 2 walks in the first 2 games. We can only analyze what's in front of us across these first 2 games, but I've been impressed with the way the Royals have been creative against him. In the first game of this series, he saw 8 changeups. He swung and missed at 4 of them. In Game 2, he's facing Reagans, a guy who likes to throw his changeup, and he faced relievers who had changeups in their repertoire. He saw 1 changeup. He saw a lot of pitches in that game that I think he could have done some damage. He fouled off 5 pitches in Game 2, so does he have a big swing in him tonight? The Yankees need him to.
The one thing that worries me about him against Lugo is that if you look at his at-bats in this series, although he's been on base 3 times, he looks off balance. And you never see him swing and miss and like tumble over the home plate area. He's done that at least 3 times in this series. So I think he's guessing rather than reacting to the pitches that he sees. What you know, Jack said is true. The changeups in the first game, and that he was expecting that, and even mentioned that when he spoke after the game. Then he got fastballs. Don't think too much, just react. And he's got the skills to let it roll.
Yeah, Aaron Boone just mentioned when he was talking to the media that the supporting cast around Soto and Judge have the ability to get a big swing in this game and make a difference. Aaron Judge is going to get all the attention every time he steps into a batter's box. But is it going to be Austin Wells tonight? Is it going to be Giancarlo Stanton? Jack, all year long you talk about punching first, right? You just feel like the Yankees have had so many opportunities early in these games in the first inning to jump out to an early lead and kind of set the tone. They haven't taken advantage of that. Aaron Boone is praising his club for walking, getting on base, putting themselves in opportunities to score runs. Somebody's got to come through with a big hit tonight.
Well, guys, let's talk more about the lineup now as we get it out to Kansas City. Meredith Marakovich standing by with the clubhouse report. And Meredith, tell us what it went into the decision-making process in terms of building a lineup against Seth Lugo tonight.
Well, Bob, it doesn't look too different on the Yankees end. There's just one change. You're going to see Oswaldo Cabrera back in there at first base instead of John Birdie. When I asked Aaron Boone about that decision, he simply told me he felt like it was a better matchup with Cabrera. They've liked what they've seen so far from him at first base. Other than that, it is business as usual for that Yankees lineup. Now, they are expecting a pretty hostile environment here at Kauffman Field tonight. This is the first time that they're hosting postseason baseball since the World Series in 2015. And if the parking lot at 2 p.m. local time was any indication, these fans are ready to go. The tailgates were already starting. Now, as far as Seth Lugo is concerned, we know the Yankees have had trouble with him in the past. We just saw him pitch at Yankee Stadium on September 10th. He went 7 scoreless innings. One guy that has had some success against him is Juan Soto. He is 5 for 18 with a home run. I caught up with Soto earlier today during his press conference to ask him what makes Lugo so challenging.
I would say just be ready for the mistakes. We all know he has like 9 pitches. So try to focus on one zone and try to don't miss it whenever he's going to make the mistakes. Because at the end of the day, you know, he's going to try to nibble, be here and there, but he's going to make mistakes. And that's what we got to do and capitalize with that.
How challenging is it to get ready for someone who has 9 pitches?
You know, it's kind of tricky because you never know what he's gonna be working that day. But I would say I just prepare myself to be ready and to attack, and then go out there for the game. Definitely gonna see what he's done to me in the past. Try to study that and then go from there.
And a bunch of Yankees were out getting some early work in. Giancarlo Stanton, one of them. He likes the first game of a series to get out on the field, really get acquainted with the dimensions. Also, I saw Aaron Judge walking from the cage early today. I asked James Rowson if he was working on anything in particular with Stanton. He said no. He's feeling pretty comfortable overall at the plate right now as far as Aaron Judge, guys. James Rowson is not concerned. He said they've been pitching him tough. He hasn't had a ton to hit. But if there's one guy he has confidence in, it is Aaron Judge. And we have seen in that first game in particular other guys in that order getting it done. But it seems like as Aaron Judge goes, this team goes. So we'll see if tonight is the night that he's able to break out against Seth Lugo.
Well, Meredith, we know in a playoff series, every pitch is so important. That certainly applies to the bullpen as well for both of these teams. And for the Yankees, they have been spot on in terms of the work that they've done out of the bullpen, benefiting from another day off yesterday. Tell us about how the Yankees feel about their bullpen right now.
Bob, they've been absolutely outstanding. They've pitched 9 1/3 total innings so far and have yet to give up an earned run. It seems like Aaron Boone is pushing all the right buttons when it comes to that bullpen, and he's proven in the first 2 games of this series he will not hesitate to go to it. This is actually going to be the first time this series that they're going to play on back-to-back days. Game 4 will be tomorrow here in Kansas City. One thing that they have to be extremely encouraged about is the way Clay Holmes has been throwing the ball. He told me after one of the games at Yankee Stadium that he has a much better feel for his sinker, better than he did during the regular season. And when that pitch is on, Holmes can be very, very deadly out there on that mound. I had the opportunity to catch up with Clay earlier, and I asked what the intensity is like in that bullpen during the game.
Man, we know these games mean, and we know we got to be ready from pitch one. And, I think, people feed off that. It's definitely an atmosphere where, we're all down there from pitch one and we're ready, and, we're into every pitch. There's no kicking your feet back for 5 innings and seeing what happens. So it makes it fun down there.
Does anything change about your routine because of that?
Just a little earlier. I think that in the season, people kind of have your routines with certain inning markers. You want to kind of be doing this, but like I said, from pitch one, you're ready if your name's going to get called. So you just push things up a little bit and stay ready.
You look at the first 2 games, the bullpen played a big role. You guys really were throwing the ball well collectively. How much pride do you guys take in going out there, putting up those zeros, and keeping the team in the game?
Yeah, there's a lot of confidence down there. I think that people know what we're capable of down there, and we know that we're going to get our names called. And I think with that, we just kind of feed off of each other. That there's going to be a lot of people throw, and it's really just passing the baton and going out there, giving your best bullets, and trusting that the guy that comes in behind you is going to do the same. So I think we just feed off each other, and like I said, when you kind of have that mentality of we're all in this together, it makes it a lot of fun.
You mentioned the confidence. How much confidence are you throwing with right now, knowing that sinker is really moving well?
Yes, sinker's been good, and I feel like it's in a good spot. I'm able to get some ground balls, some swings below the zones. That's always a good sign. Like I said, when I'm going well, my whole kind of repertoire feeds off that, and I feel like the sinker's there right now, and just looking forward to going out there and just giving as many good bullets as I can and see how many outs we can get.
When you look at that Royals lineup, what makes that lineup tough?
It's not a lot of swing and miss, a lot of contact. Especially, we got some guys down there contact oriented, and you can't be scared of the contact. You got to trust yourself, trust the contact that you're getting. Even in this environment, you may give up a single, things will get loud, but you can't really let that take off and let us take us off of our game. We're going to get a ground ball. Some may go through, but just keep trusting yourself, and trust the double play is always there.
You mentioned the environment. Do you expect it to be a hostile environment here in Kansas City tonight?
Definitely. I've heard stuff about this stadium, how loud it can get, so I think we're excited. It's always a fun atmosphere when you go on the road, and I think we're looking forward to the challenge.
Clarke Schmidt's going to start things off for you guys. What have you seen from him this season that gives you the belief that he could be the guy to get the job done here in Game 3?
Yeah, Clark's, he's a leader. He's confident. I think, people kind of feed off his confidence too. And to have a guy like him, I think we're all, looking forward to see what he can do tonight. He's the type of guy, he kind of rises to the occasion. So this type of stage, I think, is going to be great for him. He's been really good this year. I think just with his stuff he's got going right now, cutter to lefties, the big, breaking balls to righties. So a lot of pitches, a lot of weapons, and I think that puts people on their heels, and honestly gives the rest of us a good look at kind of what's working and kind of how we can navigate the lineups.
And you heard Clay Holmes talking about tonight's starter, Clarke Schmidt. Brian Cashman is actually here. I asked him about Schmidt as well, and he said one thing he knows, this crowd is going to be loud, but Clarke Schmidt is not a guy that is going to cower at all. He loves that type of environment. He has a tremendous amount of confidence. And, guys, he pitches extremely well on the road, a 1.39 ERA this year on the road. And you're going to hear from the Game 3 starter, Clarke Schmidt, who will join me later in the show.
Meredith, look forward to that. We'll see you on the post game later on here on Yes as well. Before we go to break, want to take a look at the starting lineups for both of tonight's Game 3. Yankees lineup brought to you courtesy of Toyota. We mentioned the runners in scoring position, just 3 of 19, 19 left on base. Juan Soto in that June series at KC batted .364, 6 runs, 5 walks, and a .588 on base percentage. Giancarlo Stanton in at DH. He's 3 for 14 off Lugo with a homer and 6 strikeouts. The Royals lineup also brought to you by Toyota. This is a team that in Game 2 did strike out 15 times. Bobby Witt Jr. at home, the numbers are remarkable. .382, 54 extra base hits, and 1117 OPS. Michael Garcia coming off a 4-for-5 game in Game 2. And Adam Frazier's out and right. He's 4 for 8 off Schmidt in his career with a double and a homer. Now, as mentioned, it is a major moment for Clarke Schmidt. It's his 4th postseason appearance, but he gets to start for the first time. Coming up next on the FanDuel Yankees pregame, we'll tell you what to expect from the righty. It's ahead on Yes and the Yes app.
The Yankees pregame show on Yes is presented by FanDuel. New FanDuel customers can get $300 in bonus bets when your $5 bet wins. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app today.
This MLB season, FanDuel is taking you out to every ball game. Bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win.
Get 3.9% APR for 36 months plus $1,000 purchase allowance on most 2024 Cadillac models when you finance through Cadillac Financial.
If you want my 2 cents on interest rates, we got options.
My 2 cents. This one's priced to sell. My 2 cents? My 2 cents?
My 2 cents?
My 2 cents?
My 2 cents?
Here's my 2 cents. I'm planning for the future. Interest plus interest equals more interest. Come on, now. You can do that.
Hi, Joan. Perfect timing. I have a few questions.
Of course. Let's look at your plan.
Driving the Nissan Rogue with Google built in is like...
Hey, Google. Turn on Rocky's food.
It's like the ultimate connection. See why it's been awarded a Consumer Guide Best Buy and recommended by Consumer Reports. Drive the Nissan Rogue today.
Now get the 2024 Nissan Rogue, one of 6 Nissan vehicles with starting MSRP under $30,000.
The Yankees pregame show on Yes is brought to you in part by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees.
There he is, Clark Schmidt out on the mound.
Swing and a miss. Swing and a miss. He got him. Doing right by him.
Clark Schmidt seems to be in a really good rhythm.
Clark Schmidt's got this kind of breaking stuff.
Swing and a miss. How about Clark Schmidt?
He's a steady guy, and it's a good option for Aaron Boone.
Strong inning for Clark Schmidt. Swing and a miss. Got him.
Clark Schmidt, now it's your turn to go back out there and do what you do best, and that's pitch well.
Those were our Hyundai highlights, and look at Clark Schmidt's season. His 2.85 ERA, third in the American League, minimum of 15 starts. He allowed 3 runs or fewer in 15 of his 16 starts. Stellar ERA on the road, little under 1.5, and then keeps an eye on those base runners as well. And Flash, you look at that graphic, I got to think all that's baked into the decision to start him tonight.
Yeah, I think the last 3 nuggets right there are a big part of this, and I thought Luis Gil was going to get the ball in Game 3, and the reason I thought so is that Clark Schmidt could be an X factor out of the bullpen. Multiple innings if you needed him, swing and miss if you needed him, but he gets a start tonight, guys, and I think it's because he's Mr. Reliable, right? 3 runs or fewer in plenty of his outings. Road ERA is fantastic, does a great job with the running game. I just think he needs to protect his breaking ball a little bit tonight. Don't get slider, knuckle curve, cutter happy. He's got a good enough fastball to show that pitch.
Gil is the dynamic arm. Gil is the electric arm. And if you were to bet on somebody to pitch 6 one-hit innings with 11 strikeouts, you'd bet on Gil. But to John's point, if you were to bet on somebody to get you through the 6th inning, even if it ended up being a little bit of a grind and keep you in the game, that pitcher is more likely to be Clark Schmidt. I thought within Meredith's interview with Holmes, he gave a great breakdown of what helps make Schmidt successful. The cutter to the lefties, the breaking pitches to the righties. But John is right. Make sure that you mix up those pitches because the Royals have a scouting report as well.
You know, it's interesting, Jack. If you listen to the Yankees talk about Schmidt, they talk in code. He doesn't scare easily. He really believes in himself. What they're trying to say, he is really cocky. He is built for this. He wants the ball. He believes that he should have the ball. And the cutter that Jack's talking about, in the past couple of years, the negative in Schmidt's game, he couldn't get out lefties. He didn't have a weapon to get out lefties. That cutter now helps him get out lefties. And one other thing, he suffered an injury. He was out for 2.5 months. That means that he is really, really rested. He's going to be strong. I don't think fatigue will have anything to do with it. This is his time. He wants to be here, so now he's here.
Well, on Monday, Meredith caught up with Schmidt, and it is our quote of the day, courtesy of Citizens Made Ready.
Clark, you're getting the ball in Game 3 of the ALDS. How does that sound to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a dream come true. I think, obviously, great opportunity to win a ball game, and I've been dreamed about since I was young. So really looking forward to it. Excited to get back out there in the playoff atmosphere.
There's no secret it was between you and Luis Gil deciding who the Yankees were going to go with. When Aaron Boone told you, what was your initial reaction?
Yeah, I mean, I think excited, obviously, and I feel ready for the moment. I feel very in control mechanically and physically and mentally. So just feel ready to go, and obviously really excited.
Look, a really long layoff for you, though. How have you been keeping yourself ready, and are you at all worried about that?
Yeah, obviously it's a factor, but I've probably thrown 2 or 3 bullpens in between, and which is a lot more than in typical weeks. So trying to get off the mound as much as I can and staying fresh and as far as that goes. But I think the playoffs it'll bring it out of you, so I'll be ready for sure.
When you look at that Kansas City lineup, what is your biggest concern?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they do a really good job of piecing together runs. I think, they have guys who can slug in the lineup. Obviously, Bobby and Salvi and what those guys have done this year in the course of their career has been impressive. And I think, they got a lot of speed and they don't strike out a lot. So I think that's obviously plays a factor. And in playoff games, guys who don't really strike out, it can, if they square the ball up, it can go into an alley or something like that. So for me, just trying to induce as much weak contact as I can and be able to pass the baton to the next guy.
The way you ended the year, how good do you feel about your stuff right now? Obviously, there was a weather issue that final start, but overall.
Yeah, I feel great. I think, I finished down the stretch really, really good. I think coming out of the injury felt really, really good throughout rehabs and stuff like that. So, ever since I came back from the injury and even the beginning of the year, I just feel really, really fresh this year and really happy with where I'm at mechanically, so really excited.
When do you think the adrenaline is going to start ramping up as you get closer to getting the ball in Game 3?
I think trying to delay that as much as I can. I think, I almost feel like this is kind of like my first playoff, being able to go out there and start and kind of understand myself a little bit better and how to control my emotions. And I think that's the name of this game is, trying not to get too high or too low out there and just stay within yourself. So I'm going to try to do as best as I can to stay within myself and not let the adrenaline get too much.
Well, they had good options, Luis Gil or Clark Schmidt. Schmidt gets the nod. You probably think they were a little concerned sometimes, Michael, with Gil. The mechanics can get out of whack a little quickly. He will walk some batters. But for Schmidt, it's amazing to see his progression. You mentioned the cutter. Really couldn't throw it at one point, but he checked that box, started going deeper into games. That was another box that he had to check. So we've seen this growth of a pitcher into an elite guy.
I think that it was a tough decision for them, but not that tough the way we think it is, because they look at Gil. Gil's ceiling is so much higher than Schmidt's, but the floor might be a little bit lower, so Gil could end up walking 5 guys in the first 2 innings. I think that's what scared them, and also that's what scares them about using him out of the bullpen. When he has his mechanics right and he's throwing strikes, he's as good as any pitcher in baseball. I think they just feel safer with Schmidt. They know what they're going to get. They're going to get 5 or 6 innings where he's going to allow 3 runs or fewer. That's his resume, and they'll take that in this game.
And to what Michael said earlier about his confidence, he had a great quote that he gave to reporters this week, and when he was asked about, are you nervous for this start? He said, I'm not nervous, I'm excited. If you go out there nervous in this atmosphere, you will get eaten alive. And I think the Yankees trust that he will not get eaten alive. I do wonder where the Yankees go after Schmidt, because we know he's essentially been a 5-inning pitcher for them. I don't think they will bring Gil in the middle of an inning. I'm not sure they'll bring Gil in at all. It could end up being Cousins, it could end up being Holmes, but they would love to see him get through the order a couple of times clean, and then we'll see what happens that 3rd time through the order.
I think if Gil gets in this game, it's going to be extra innings, right, where you've emptied your bullpen and you're probably going to need a bunch of innings. But you mentioned Clark Schmidt usually being a 5-inning guy. Starters during the postseason, that usually goes down to maybe 4 innings. So there's going to be some innings to cover tonight. I wonder if Clark Schmidt's going to learn from Carlos Rodon the other night, who looked so great in the first inning and was so amped up, and then we know how that game ended up. Clark does have playoff experience out of the bullpen. Even if he goes out there and his lights out the 1st and 2nd inning, just keep it all under control and try to get to the 5th or the 6th.
Well, got to take another break on the FanDuel Yankees pregame. Coming up next, Flash takes a deep dive into 2 MVP candidates who haven't found their swings yet, Bobby Witt Jr. and Aaron Judge. Keep it right here.
That's everything.
That's everything.
Yeah? Everything? Not everything.
The Hyundai Palisade. With advanced tech and award-winning safety. There's joy in every journey. Lease a well-equipped all-wheel drive Palisade SEL for only $359 a month. Or step up and get a limited with $1,000 bonus cash. Hurry in.
Hi, I'm Greg. I live in Bloomington, Illinois. I'm not an actor. I'm just a regular person. Some people say, why should I take Prevagen? I don't have a problem with my memory. Memory loss is not something that occurs overnight. I started noticing subtle lapses in memory. I want people to know that Prevagen has worked for me. It's helped my memory. It's helped my cognitive qualities. Give it a try. I want it to help you just like it has helped me.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription.
So, there's this guy, Paul Rivera, grew up in the Bronx. Made some mistakes, but eventually becomes one of those hard-working citizens who keep our city going. But he gets pulmonary fibrosis, and his only hope is a lung transplant. While one hospital, Montefiore Einstein, get him a new lung, and they give him a new life. Everyone in his neighborhood is like,
they give that guy a new lung or a new motor. The story, Mr. Giamatti.
well, you ought to know, Mr. Rivera, you lived it.
They say post it or it didn't happen. But out here, in the places we were made for, you'll have to take our word for it. Find somewhere the internet's never been. With the family of Broncos designed to get you there.
Right now, lease a Ford Bronco for $379 a month for 36 months. Only at your local Ford stores.
Judge and Bobby Witt Jr., two megawatt superstars, hoping to find their mojo for Game 3. Good to have you back, Bob and Flash, with you. They're the subject of our Player Spotlight, brought to you by your Tri-State Cadillac dealer. So let's start with Aaron Judge, 1 for 7 so far in the series. And the big question going into Game 1, how would they approach him?
The Kansas City Royals, how are they going to pitch to Aaron Judge? Are they going to pitch around him? Are they going to intentionally walk him whenever they have the opportunities? And there are really three ways they could have gone about this. You totally avoid him in the lineup. That's one option. The second is to pitch really carefully, and if Aaron Judge wants to swing the bat out of the strike zone, you let him. The third option, which I didn't think the Royals would do, is come right at him and be aggressive. We found out the first at bat of this series, Kansas City Royals have been aggressive.
All right, so let's take a look at that at bat. It came against Michael Wacha, who coming in had really good numbers against him.
Yeah, he's got a good fastball and he's got a good changeup, and he came right at Aaron Judge with the first pitch heater. Then he elevates on the third fastball to get ahead in the count. What's he going to do? Try to get a changeup for a swing and a miss. He misses down to even the count. The 2-2 changeup, a good pitch. Aaron Judge, a good take. And then this pitch right here, Bob, that is as good of a 3-2 pitch as you will ever see in the major leagues. But I think what Wacha told us, the Kansas City Royals, they're going to come right at Aaron Judge.
Look at this, courtesy of StatCast 3D, powered by Google Cloud. I mean, they're absolutely filling up the zone by and large against him.
Yeah, you can see the swings and misses, the foul balls, and the balls in play. But StatCast 3D shows us they're filling up the strike zone. And the Kansas City Royals, from a pitching standpoint, their philosophy, get ahead in the count as quick as they can. Get to 2 strikes quickly, pitching in the zone, and then try to expand once you get to 2 strikes.
All right, so let's move on to Game 2 for Aaron Judge. It was against Cole Reagans, and we're going to focus on his second at-bat because he talked about that particular at-bat after the game, and that caught your attention.
Yeah, Aaron Judge was talking about a ball that he hit to right field in which he said, I did not get it, I sliced it. It went left to right. Those are some good swings right there that he fouls off, that he's pulling off a little bit. This was the swing that he talked about. Watch the flight of the ball. It goes left to right. Aaron Judge saying, I came underneath it. I sliced it to right field. When I heard him use the word slice, it reminded me the first month of the season, Aaron Judge was hitting fly balls to right field, just like he did the other night in Game 2. When that happens, you leave early, the bat drops, and you're not getting backspin. You're getting side spin, so you don't get that good carry. The good news for Aaron Judge, he's gone through this mechanically the first 3 weeks, maybe the first month. He made an adjustment and had an amazing season. So at this point right now, he's got to get back to what did I do to correct things? Maybe get on the plate a little bit more, maybe close off a little bit more. I would say maybe get a little taller, Bob, so that that front hip isn't leaving. You're kind of coming down directly to the ball a little bit more. Again, he's been through this before. He knows how to make the adjustment and what worked. He's just got to go out there in Game 3 and do it.
And tonight, is Seth Lugo going to be as aggressive? And if he is, Judge could make him pay. Yep. Let's turn our attention to Bobby Witt Jr. And coming into this series, overall, in the wild card round, the numbers were not great for him, and he's continued to struggle. He's 0 for 10, but that has not been for lack of swinging and being a little aggressive.
Yeah, Bob, I think the 0 for 10 doesn't tell the whole story here, right? If you go back to Game 1, there are some balls that Bobby Witt Jr. hit right on the nose against Garrett Cole. His first at bat, hammers this ball to left center field. Aaron Judge makes a nice running play, and if you're Bobby Witt, you're thinking, okay, I'm locked in. I hit that ball really hard. Later in the game, a cutter drives it to right field, just a little bit short, so not a whole lot to show in Game 1. He was 0 for 5 in that game, but I think Bobby Witt was probably in the clubhouse after that defeat thinking, I had a couple of good swings. I very easily could have been 2 for 5 with a home run, and I'm right where I need to be. The difference was in Game 2 for Bobby Witt. He did not look as good.
All right, so maybe a reason for that was sort of a scouting report you gave us prior to Game 1 on him, and that's that if you want to go breaking ball against him, do it, but you better be careful.
You better be careful. You better throw it off the plate and in the dirt and get him to chase, and that's exactly what we saw in Game 2. Here's Ian Hamilton. There's a slider down off the plate. You have a young hitter who's 24 years old, and he's expanding the strike zone, or at least he did in Game 2, and the Yankees did a great job saying, hey, if you want to swing at the ball out of the strike zone, we will let you do that. A young hitter who's had an amazing year, but when you get to the postseason and this franchise is expecting you have to be the man, I thought his at-bats in Game 1 were fantastic. In Game 2, Yankees found something, a young kid who's a little bit excited. He wants to be the hero, and they took advantage of that.
And just real quickly for hitters, how different is it from the regular season when, again, they got plenty of time in a 162-game season to turn their season around? You got 5 games, max. I mean, the clock is ticking for either one of these guys to really make something good happen.
Yeah, I would say it's a little different for Judge and for Bobby Witt. For Aaron Judge, we talked about it mechanically, what he's doing, and that could be a quick fix before the game today to get right. Bobby Witt Jr., it's a little bit different because I mentioned 24 years old, face of the franchise. He wants so badly to go out there and do it. You almost have to take a step back, which is not easy for a young player to do in the postseason.
All right, we got to take another break here on the FanDuel Yankees pregame. Coming up, the Bombers got 2 looks at Seth Lugo this season. They beat him once, and he held them down once. We're going to break down the Royals starter next, so stick around.
Driving the Nissan Rogue with Google built in is like...
Hey, Google, turn on Rocky's food.
It's like the ultimate connection. See why it's been awarded a Consumer Guide Best Buy and recommended by Consumer Reports. Drive the Nissan Rogue today.
Now get the 2024 Nissan Rogue, one of 6 Nissan vehicles with starting MSRP under $30,000.
It's fall in New York State, and you have to see it. Plan the perfect trip, or just jump in the car. Either way, it's going to be breathtaking. It's going to be an adventure you'll never forget. It's what makes it easy to love New York. Start your getaway at iloveny.com.
Is it possible to be more capable and more practical? Be able to perform here and here. Make a statement while barely making a sound. And command the road, as well as what lies ahead. How we get there matters. Get exceptional offers at your local Audi dealer.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Williams, and I want to share with you the role that diabetes has had in my family. I lost my grandmother at the early age of 64 due to complications with diabetes. She was warm, generous, and a constant encouragement for me to follow my heart. Did you know that African Americans experience chronic kidney disease at a rate that's 25% higher than white Americans? And we're almost 4 times more likely to develop kidney failure. Diabetes and high blood pressure are leading causes of kidney disease, which can result in kidney failure, needing dialysis, or a kidney transplant. The good news is that you have the power to check out how well your kidneys are doing and learn ways to prevent them from failing. So go to your doctor and get yourself checked out. Visit linkbylovetv.org to learn more. Get the facts, get checked, and get healthy.
Let's take a look at our Nissan pitching matchup for Game 3. Clark Schmidt going for the Yanks. 5 starts off the IL. Yanks gave him a total of 8 runs of support, so he hopes for a lot more tonight. They're going to have to get that off Seth Lugo, who won 16 regular season games, and over his last 7 games has allowed a total of just 9 earned runs. Now, StatCast 3D, powered by Google Cloud, takes a look at the arsenal for Lugo. Get this. It is, count them, 1, 2, 3, not a 4-pitch pitcher, not a 5-pitch pitcher. Can I get 6? Give me 6. Give me 7. I want 7. Give me 7. Can I get 8? 8. John Flaherty giving me 9. There's at least 9. Some have said 11. What is going on, Flash?
There's a lot to break down there. I'm really happy I'm not doing the video that's coming up on
Guess
this.
who is? Jack Curry. Break it down for us, Jack, and everything he throws.
We've heard of kitchen sink pitchers. This is kitchen sink plus something. This is his 7-inning outing against the Yankees where he shut them out. That first pitch was a cutter. One of the big differences between him facing them in June and then September, he threw 15 more cutters. So 24 cutters in that game. The Yankees were 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts. But as you're seeing in this package, it wasn't just cutters. He could even go to his changeup, as he did right there against Rizzo. In that outing, cutter and slider were his 2 favorite pitches. He got away from the 4-seamer and the sinker, but he still had some success. You see him getting Volpe right there. There's the slider, getting Judge to tap out. I'm very curious to see what the Yankees see tonight because Lugo made an adjustment. There's the sweeper. After giving up 4 earned runs in 7 innings in June to the Yankees, the 7 scoreless followed by going heavy cutter, more sliders, fewer 4-seamers, fewer sinkers. How does he pitch to the Yankees tonight, and how do they react?
Had 10 strikeouts in that game on September 10th. Your marquee matchup, courtesy of your local Ford stores. Verdugo's 3 for 7 against Lugo. Soto 5 for 18, while on the flip side, Judge is 0 for 8, and Jazz Chisholm Jr. 1 for 11. So it's almost like, Michael, we always talk about what do pitchers feel? What do they have coming out of the bullpen? For Lugo, it's like, who knows?
We can't ignore Jack's performances.
That's fabulous.
I mean, let's not just ignore it. It's unbelievable how good that was.
Lots of notes.
I think the Yankees have a little bit of an advantage because they just saw him most recently. And if you're Seth Lugo and you had 0 walks and 10 strikeouts in 7 innings and was as dominant as he was, I don't think he's changing all that much. So the Yankees have to go to school on what he did to them. I think they'll get to him a little bit more than they did. I don't think this is a guy you're going to put a 6 or a 7 spot against, but I think the Yankees will have more success than they did at the stadium.
What hitters will tell you they have a tough time with Seth Lugo is all those pitches you just broke down, Jack, 9 of them, but it's also the changes in velocity. The fastball at 92, his slowest breaking ball is 78. That's usually what hitters are getting ready for, fastball, breaking ball, but it's all the velocities in between. He fills up the 82 to 84 to 86 to 88 and then 92. So as a hitter, you're not really locked in on hard fastball, slow breaking ball. It's everything that's in between that creates soft contact.
And so many smart people in baseball told him he could not be a starter. Just couldn't do it. And he persevered. He wanted to be. You know what? He's had a great year.
Yeah, he really has. All right, guys, we got to take a break. But before we do, baseball lost one of its most charismatic figures on Tuesday with news of Luis Tiant's passing. Armed with an unmistakable whirling windup, El Tiante won 229 games across 19 seasons in the majors. The Cuban native spent his best years with the Boston Red Sox, and then late in his career, he got to experience the other side of the rivalry by putting on the pinstripes for 2 seasons. In a statement, the Yankees extended their deepest condolences to Tiant's family and friends. Luis Tiant was 83.
From the city to the suburbs to the sand. With the nation's highest cardiac success rates, Northwell faces what others call untreatable and says, not today. Northwell, raise health.
Oh my God! From this powerhouse NYC, starring A Boogie with the Hoodie, Gunna, Sexy Red, Cash Cobain and Basswag, Bossman D-Lo, Jordan Anatunji, plus more. October 26th at the Prudential Center. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
Hi, Eric.
Hi, Mel. Is now good for a quick catch-up on your plan?
Yes, now's great.
Has anything changed since we last spoke?
You know what? Yes, I'm thinking more long-term.
Great. We'll make that change to your plan and adjust as needed.
This helps a lot.
Bye, Mel.
Bye.
Make sense of your money with Citizens.
This is you, and this is your powerful hunch. The kind of hunch that hits hard during the game.
The Eagles look strong.
And while the game moves fast, with FanDuel, you're faster.
This kicker doesn't miss.
With FanDuel, it's easier than ever to place your bet before the next play, so you won't let a hunch go to waste.
Touchdown!
And make every moment more.
Winner, winner, lobster dinner.
New customers bet $5, get $300 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
Dear road rivals, no truck on the road drives value like the Tundra. Day after day, mile after mile, it all adds up to big savings under the hood. What's under yours? Toyota Tundra.
Right now, lease a new Tundra for just $479 a month or get 1.99% APR for a full 60 months. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
Time for our Audi Clutch Performers, and through the first 2 games of the series, you can certainly throw that spotlight on the Yankees bullpen.
Yeah, the Yankee bullpen has really been lined up perfectly with Luke Weaver at the back end, finishing things up. Ian Hamilton with a good sweeper down and away. And then you got Tim Hill, who's kind of the unsung hero, is getting some big outs in a couple of games for the Yankees to this point. Clay Holmes has all of a sudden found his sinker that he's told Meredith about, and I think he's a lot more comfortable in the middle of the game than the back end. Tommy Kahnle with his power changeup. If you're Aaron Boone, you'll feel really good about all of your relievers at this point.
Yankees bullpen has thrown 9 1/3 innings of shutout baseball. They've struck out 11. Meantime, the Royals really good in game 2, but they did give up 4 runs in that first game. And, Michael, the one thing that jumps out to me, Holmes with that sinker once again, and then Weaver, they were aching for swing and miss stuff at the end of the bullpen and the back end, and he's providing it.
You know, I think he's the key to all of this because there was some concern when Holmes lost the closer role. Who would they go to? Well, this guy has done the job, and he's not just a one-inning closer. He can give you 5 outs. He could probably give you 6 the way this whole series is configured with the 3 off days. This is the first time the Yankees have to play 2 games in a row, and I think everybody else fits a role. They fill lanes and things like that. This is a bullpen the manager likes because he can call on them at any time in any inning, especially who's coming up in that inning. It's a matchup bullpen, and I think that's the type of bullpen you need in a postseason series.
When Weaver first replaced Holmes, Aaron Boone wasn't immediately christening him at the closer spot, but I was at the stadium and I asked Aaron Boone, will you be comfortable going into the postseason and not designating anyone as the closer? And he said, I will be, because I think I have 5 or 6 guys who can get big outs at the end of games. And he does. If you look at what the Yankees have done right now, you do have confidence in Weaver. You have confidence in Hamilton and Kahnle and Cousins, and I think they have renewed their confidence in Holmes. That being said, you need to get the ball to Weaver. He's the closer. He's done a terrific job.
Yeah, the bullpen's been amazing. Aaron Boone deserves some credit for finding the right lanes for these relievers to be matched up favorably. But we talked about at the beginning of the show, tonight's game is going to be different because he's just not going to be able to bring in who he wants to bring in, knowing that you have an off day tomorrow. Tonight he's got to worry about tomorrow's game as well. Is he going to be as eager to go to that bullpen early? Is he going to wait a little bit? I'm thinking about that 4th or 5th inning. There's going to be a decision either way that we're going to be talking about at this desk.
You know what is aggravating, though? They've pitched perfectly for 2 games, and the Yankees lost one of those games. So the bullpen could do everything it's supposed to do, throw zeros up there. You've got to score runs, and that's been the problem for the Yankees.
Well, guys, let's change the tone a little bit. As the situations continue to evolve, the American Red Cross is providing relief in numerous states severely impacted by recent hurricanes that brought heavy rains and catastrophic flooding and devastated communities. Donations can be made at redcross.org. We're going to take a break. We'll have much more coming up right after this.
This is not just any hybrid. This is the Ford F-150 Hybrid. With a Power Boost hybrid powertrain, you get both gas power and electric energy for impressive performance. Paired with an available 7.2 kilowatt Pro Power onboard generator for when and wherever you need it. Tough this smart can only be called F-150. Right now, returning lessees can lease the Ford F-150 for $299 a month for 24 months. Only at your local Ford stores.
Your memory is an amazing thing, but sometimes it can start to slow down. But did you know Prevagen can help keep your memory sharp? The secret is the powerful ingredient apoaquarin, originally discovered in jellyfish and found only in Prevagen. In a clinical study, Prevagen was shown to improve memory in subgroups of individuals who are cognitively normal or mildly impaired. Stay sharp and improve your memory with Prevagen. Prevagen, in stores everywhere without a prescription.
For years, one company has battled to deliver business products the next day with no freight charges. Now, WB Mason, with their famous fleet of trucks and drivers, faces their biggest challenge, rescuing shipping and packaging buyers from expensive freight charges. That's right. Now, boxes, stretch film, and packaging tape are delivered the very next day at amazingly low prices. So, who do you call for fast delivery and no expensive freight charges? Who but WB Mason?
Driving the Nissan Rogue with Google built in is like...
Hey, Google, turn on Rocky's food.
It's like the ultimate connection. See why it's been awarded a Consumer Guide Best Buy and recommended by Consumer Reports. Drive the Nissan Rogue today.
Now get the 2024 Nissan Rogue, one of 6 Nissan vehicles with starting MSRP under $30,000.
It's time for the pregame odds segment presented by FanDuel. As the American League Division Series shifts to Kansas City, the Yankees are ever so slight money line favorites over the Royals in Game 3. For some player props, Aaron Judge is plus 280 to hit a home run. Giancarlo Stanton is plus 390. For the Royals, Salvador Perez is plus 430, and Bobby Witt Jr. is plus 460. New FanDuel customers can get $300 in bonus bets when your $5 bet wins. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app today.
It's the only time in this series with games played on back-to-back days. And after the final pitch tonight, come back to Yes for the postgame. And then our coverage for Game 4 begins tomorrow at 7 o'clock. And if necessary, Game 5 would be back in the Bronx on Saturday. But let's go back to Monday when Jazz Chisholm Jr. talked about the Bombers' mindset following their Game 2 loss.
Still feels the same that we're going to win it, you know. I don't feel like anybody feels any different, you know. We're going to go out there and do our thing still. We still don't feel like any team is better than us. Like you said, we had a lot of missed opportunities tonight, so they just got lucky.
Michael Garcia of the Royals had this to say about the Yankees. We don't fear nobody. He said that on X, and as you surmised after hearing that flash, that got the Royals' attention, what Jazz said.
Well, you never want to say that an opposing team got lucky because you're giving them some bulletin board material. And I know Salvador Perez was asked about that quote from Jazz Chisholm, and he downplayed it and said, oh, we're not even paying attention to that. He's not telling you the truth. They know what he said, and I'm sure they talked about it in their clubhouse. And I will say on the flip side with Garcia, you don't have to let everybody know that you don't fear anybody, because for 2 games, I would say the Kansas City Royals are not intimidated by the Yankees. They have gone toe-to-toe with them, and it's going to be a good 3 games if we're going to go the next 3.
Shout from a mountaintop with a bullhorn that you have confidence in your team and you think your team is going to win. Even go out on social media and say it. But the last 4 words of that soundbite, they just got lucky. You can't be flippant about the opponent, and whatever effect Jazz was trying to accomplish there, Brian Hoke of MLB.com just reported that Jazz Chisholm received more boos, louder boos, than even Aaron Judge did.
A couple of things. Garcia went with the double negative, so they fear somebody. The second thing is, the thing that bothered me about it, and I think what Jazz meant that the Yankees were unlucky. They hit them balls hard, but he comes out and says that they were lucky. Not the thing to say. Then Aaron Boone tries to walk it back and said, well, he didn't really mean that, and he shouldn't have said that. And then Jazz doubles down by retweeting, you know, the likelihood of a win, where it was like 70% for the Yankees, 20% for the Royals. Just stop. It's just, when your manager tries to walk something back, let him walk it back. Instead, Jazz took it a step further.
Well, we don't not have to take a break. I am completely confused. We do have to take a break on the FanDuel Yankees pregame. Luke Weaver is signing some autographs prior to tonight's game. Will he get to close a win out tonight? We'll close the pregame next with some final thoughts here on Yes and the Yes app.
Is it possible to be more capable and more practical? Be able to perform here and here. Make a statement while barely making a sound. And command the road, as well as what lies ahead. How we get there matters. Get exceptional offers at your local Audi dealer.
Whoa, if you want my 2 cents on interest rates, we got options.
My 2 cents. This one's priced to sell. My 2 cents? My 2 cents?
My 2 cents?
My 2 cents?
My 2 cents?
Here's my 2 cents. I'm planning for the future. Interest plus interest equals more interest. Come on, you gonna get that?
Hi, Joan. Perfect timing. I have a few questions.
Of course. Let's look at your plan.
Class-leading safety features at every turn. The Hyundai Tucson.
Lease an all-wheel drive Tucson for $229 a month, or get 1.99% APR, or up to $1,250 bonus cash. Hurry in.
I'm Naheem Hines, professional football player and proud supporter of the Muscular Dystrophy Association. My mom was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy when I was 14, and I watched her struggle. But MDA helped her get the best treatments and care, and they also help kids like my buddy Ethan.
My name is Ethan. Thanks to the Muscular Dystrophy Association and people like you, I have more hope than ever before. From day one, they've treated me like family at my local care center. AMDA is the only one that funds over 150 care centers across the U.S. to help provide state-of-the-art care for adults and kids like me.
MDA has been transforming the lives of people living with muscular dystrophy, ALS, and other related neuromuscular diseases. They fund the research for breakthrough treatments, care, and cures. And MDA provides support to thousands of families like mine and Ethan's in communities like yours. Thanks to MDA, kids and adults can live life to its fullest. Join us and learn more at MDA.org today.
Certainly a memorable moment presented by Prevagen, the #1 pharmacist recommended memory support brand. Everybody remembers it. Jack, you were there that night.
I was writing the story on deadline for the New York Times as a beat writer, and you almost didn't believe your eyes, Bob, because we obviously had the liberty of seeing the replay. Richie Garcia, who was down the line there as the umpire, didn't, and it was clear that Jeffrey Mayer, the 12-year-old from Old Tappan, New Jersey, reached over the fence and scooped that ball away from Tony Tarasco. It went down as a home run for Jeter. The Yankees benefited greatly from that. I looked up my story because when Jeter was asked if he felt bad about that, he said, "Do I feel bad? We won the game. Why should I feel bad? Ask them that."
I'm going to make you feel bad. Jeffrey Mayer's 40.
And you should feel worse.
I do feel awful. I do feel awful. Yeah, that was strange times indeed. The one thing, though, when you argue with Oriole fans about that, they think that decided the series. That did not decide the series. That was not the be-all, end-all game. It certainly helped the Yankees. And I remember, you might remember this too, the Daily News then made a big deal out of Jeffrey Mayer and got him seats behind the Yankee dugout, and the Yankees completely disassociated themselves from Jeffrey Mayer that day.
Jeter threw him a pair of batting gloves, right, or threw him a wristband or something. But right, it was, okay, the kid's there, but let's
we didn't do it.
Win the game on the field, yeah.
All right, guys, back to Game 3 tonight in Kansas City. The venue changes. They certainly hope there's no balls right at the wall. Maybe the Yankees hoping finally get a little more slug and get some over the wall in case.
Yeah, the Yankees have a great road record, so they feel really good about themselves going to Kansas City tonight, trying to, get this game and take command of this series. I think about both starting pitchers who are going through their warm-ups right now and how long the leash is going to be. I know the Kansas City Royals feel good about their starting pitcher. They might give him a little more rope.
MLB best 50-31 record on the road. We talked about Schmidt earlier. He's only allowed 2 home runs in 45-plus innings on the road. I agree with you, Bob. The Yankees led the major leagues in home runs. Slug wins games. The Yankees haven't had that in the first 2 games. The other thing, Michael, we say it often in here, punch first. We mentioned it earlier in the game. Get a lead against the Royals and Lugo. Put that home crowd back on its heels.
So much is made of Aaron Judge, and we'll bring it back to what we started the show with. He has to do something. Now, the Yankees could get through this series with Aaron Judge not hitting. But in order to get to their 28th World Championship, he's got to get back to the player that he is during the regular season. I'm not putting this all on him. Soto didn't have a good game in Game 2. Stanton didn't have a good game, although he drove in a run. But the bottom line is none of those big guys have had that big game just yet. But so much focus is on Judge because of the 58 home runs. I think he's got to do something. Otherwise, it'd be a very difficult task for the Yankees to even get through this series.
And I just go back to this. I know it sounds like a cliche, but just get that one big hit. As Jack said before, Game 2, they were 2 for 20 with runners on base.
These short series, Bob, it's all about momentum. And you're right. You get one big hit early in the game, and all of a sudden you're in that dugout saying, we're taking Game 3. We're going to be in command of this series, and we have our ace going tomorrow night. On the flip side, when you're sitting in that dugout, Jack, and you're playing from behind, it is a defensive feeling. That's not where they want to be.
Yeah, you've been there. Guys start to grip the bat a little tighter. But I think about Aaron Boone and post-game comments. I think the happiest we have seen him during the regular season. And when he talks about an inning where they had at-bat after at-bat after at-bat where they did their jobs, they need to do that tonight.
Well, you know the drill. The game itself is on TBS and streaming on Max. And then once the game is over, come right back to Yes. We'll have full post-game coverage from here and Meredith in Kansas City. Enjoy the ball game next.